gentlemen, homies and homettes, children, babies, creatures of all kinds, what do you do?
Let's go. Let's go. Man, when I tell you the devil do not be wanting me to put this stuff on here, I just fought with this thing. When I sent that story that I was about to be live on here 5 minutes ago, it took me through hell through hell, living hell to get on this. Let me see something. Okay, there we go. So I am live on Facebook. So I wanted to make sure for that before I go on I go on Instagram. All right, hold on, let me pop this on here. Just wanted to see that. So when I put that on here, I did a pre-run right with the studio. It's all brand new. It's all brand new. Everything in here is brand new. Thousands of dollars spent on the studio, right? So when I came back, I went to go get some water. I came back, the camera wasn't working. It's 4K camera. I'm like, what the heck? Why isn't the camera working? So nothing happened. The camera was sitting where it's sitting right now. I didn't even have it on the tripod. So I was like, okay. So gotta be the cord. Brand new cord. Okay, let's see what's going on. So I go downstairs. And luckily the radar detector in the car the Benz has the same cord as the camera. Camera pops on. No picture. Then the mic. No access to the mic or the camera. What the hell? So I restart the computer. The computer been off decides it wants to do an update right when I do this. Wow. So it updates. Go back on. Still no camera access. I'm looking at myself in this camera through the mirror behind me. So I know the camera's working. That mirror. So I had to literally sit here and pray. So I can get this to y'all. That's crazy. So this happens a lot. It's crazy. If I just record or do anything else, no problems. I told y'all the other week when I did the man versus machine how I just miraculously lost the simplistic password that I got for this. Actually, I'm gonna go on TikTok. I'm gonna leave Instagram. Let me do that. So it's crazy work how this has been happening, but we gonna get this done. So like I literally had to pray to get through to y'all this message. So there's a lot of distractions. It was crazy awesome. Thought came in my head, just go out for a second, chill out, go watch the game. I'm like, nah, let me come back home and do what God told me to do. Stopping by the store, just get a Morocco. Nah, let me go and do what God told me to do. So here we are. Are we about to get this popping though? So the topic was about to be don't let me add this title on here. Sorry, y'all. We about to get to it. Don't let the devil trick you out your garden. What's the garden? The garden is where God wants you to be. The garden is where your purpose and your happiness is. The garden is where now we live on TikTok too. What up, TikTok? So we're gonna start it all over. I was just telling them how hard it was to get this video out to y'all tonight. Seems like every time I'm trying to pop up a new video, the devil did not want it. So I had to pray to get this through to y'all. So what we're talking about is don't let the devil trick you out of eating. This came to me the other day. You gotta be you got to be ready when you ask God to reveal things to you and show you things. Your adversaries, whatever you want to call it, these principalities of wickedness in high places. You got to be real, real careful when you ask God to show you, because He gonna show you, and you're gonna see a lot of things that that's going to maybe affect you emotionally, maybe affect you mentally. When you see these things that you asking God to reveal for you, because He's gonna show you the ugly side of people, the ugly side of places, and the ugly side of things. And what happens then is the devil uses those opportunities to trick you out the will of God. See, as powerful and strong as the devil may seem, or how they make him seem, right? He never physically, spiritually throws anybody out of anything. He tricks you to walk out of your purpose. He tricks you to walk out of your manifestations. He tricks you to walk out of your mind. It's a term in the streets. Don't let them trick you off the streets. And what that is don't let somebody trick you into a decision that's going to cause you to have a reaction that's going to get you put in jail, right? And see, what the devil will do, he'll trick you to have a reaction to cause you to sometimes go to jail, sometimes get killed, sometimes to remove yourself out of your purpose. Sometimes it's as simple as to stop you from doing something that God wanted you to do. He's very smart at that. He's been doing that since creation, since the beginning of the time. So you got to think, the first people he tricked was the angels. He tricked the angels in heaven to go against God. He didn't force them. He didn't put a gun to their head or a sword to their head or bullied them into revolting against God. He tricked them. Greatest lie he ever told. How do we know this is heaven? Help me to overthrow the Most High. Secondly, he tricked Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden. You should not surely die if you bite the fruit. You will be just like God. And he tricked them out of their purpose. Tricks us out of our purpose all the time. And the funny thing about it is, when he's dealing with human beings, the devil tricks us with using people we're close to get us out of position, out of the will of God. This is what he loves to do. This is what he loves to do, is to use a trick to get us away from what God wants us to do. He used deception, fear, false evidence appearing real to trick you away from what the Most High has called you to do. Like I said, one of the first tricks he ever told was to the angels. He tricked them to revolt against the Most High, got them cast out of heaven. And so what he'll do is to trick you to get you out of your purpose, out of your calling. He'll use people close to you. This is his favorite tactic now, especially in these days. You see an operation in the spirit of Jezebel, crazy right now. And Jezebel operates in men and women nowadays. And so what he'll do is you have a divine marriage and you have a demonic marriage. And so we'll be out of the will of God, wanting to have all these things that we see that people claim that they want in relationships, but we moving in opposition to God's will. Fornication, lust, all these other things, alcoholism. We spend more time in the club than we spend in the church, right? We spend more time arguing than we do praying together, right? So the devil will put somebody or put you two together, and sometimes we even have our own. We're running to our soulmates, but we're operating out of these demonic activities, and it'll cause us to clash against our own soulmate, the people God put in our lives to help us. And so that's how the devil tricks you. God created Eve, right? God created Adam. However, the devil tricked them out of Eden. The devil used Eve to talk to Adam to get both of them kicked out of the garden. So he does the same thing today. He doesn't come in and pick you up and throw you out of your purpose or out of the will of God or whatever it is God wants you to do. He doesn't come and beat you up. He doesn't come with the mob or some gangsters. No, he tricks you into thinking there's something better. Breaking it down on the relationship side. The grass is he always shows us or tries to pretend or make us believe with this illusion that there's something better on the other side. You can pray, right, for the woman of your dreams, the man of your dreams, right? And still be in opposition to them. He tricks us to believe there's no real love, right? He tricks us to believe that this person gonna do me just like this other one. So we have the shield up, right? And we never really let that person in close enough to us to be what we prayed for. And that's why I feel my platform is so effective, because I'm going to tell you my own flaws. I prayed for the right person. And when I got the right person, I treated them like I treated everybody else because of trust issues, because of trauma issues. So it's like I waited for them to mess up. And then when I finally did get them to mess up, possibly, or the demons that they were fighting in them, we never spent enough time working on those, right? We spent more time going out drinking, going out clubbing, going out traveling, going out having a good time, right? Never working on ourselves, right? And so the devil will use those things to trick you out of your eating. And then when the situation blows up, we're sitting here like, what happened? What happened was you allowed the devil to trick you into thinking the grass is greener on the other side. He'll trick you into opportunities where God will place you a place and he'll show you something else. His temptation to Jesus was, this is Jesus, this is God, right? I'll give you the kingdoms of the world if you would just bow down and submit to me, right? So if Jesus would have did that, he would have tricked him out of his purpose, which would have been to come to save humanity, to give us reconciliation with God. So the devil didn't come down and throw Jesus off the mountain. He came to him first to manipulate him. When he came into the Garden of Eden, right, to tempt Eve, he didn't slap Eve up and drag her through the garden or beat her down and force her to do that. He couldn't do that, you know? So what he did was, hey, Eve, you know what God said to you wasn't true. It was a lie. It's something better for you out here. She believed it. She bit the fruit, took it to Adam. Hey, you know, the serpent told me this was better. He was right. We naked out here, Adam. But the fruit, God found out, kicked them out of their garden. How many times has he done this to you? Where the devil manipulated you out of something because you couldn't see the whole totality of the picture. But in hindsight, when you look back, you look at it, damn, I messed up a golden opportunity. When I was doing gospel music, gospel rap, me and Remy literally were winning secular competitions with DJ Khaled's magazine. We were on stage opening up. We opened up for Lecrae. We opened up for the Triple E, but it wasn't moving like I wanted it to move. And so I bailed on that opportunity. And I'm listening to the music as I open up the Main Verse Machine podcast. My daughter just hit me the other day like, Dad, that was a hit. Like, you could play that right now. You should make that song right now. And I'm listening to these songs. I'm listening to my music like, wow. I took the opportunity away from people, from the purpose God gave me, because I thought something was better because I wasn't moving in God's time. A lot of the times the devil will play with us, right? And like I said, if y'all follow these Main Verse Machines, if you don't, check out Main Verse Machine on YouTube, check out Main Verse Machine on Facebook. You can go to my Facebook page and see these videos. I'm going to start posting them more. You got to understand, it's not a physical game the devil is playing with you. He's playing a mental, spiritual game with you. He doesn't physically oppose you. He mentally opposes you. He spiritually opposes you to get you to lay down. He's already defeated. He knows that. You don't know that. And so when we try to operate at our own speed, that's one of the games he uses to play against us, to get us out of our own eating. How many of y'all, especially ladies, how many of y'all ladies, right, gave up on a good man, gave up on your household because your friends that ain't got no man, ain't happy, right, tricked you out of the situation, and then misery loves company. You gotta understand, ladies, gentlemen, a lot of people don't want to see you doing bad. They just don't want to see you doing better than them. Living proof of that right now. Just saw this weekend. I asked God for revelation. Being a Leo, my loyalty to people is you damn near try to kill me. And as long as you apologize to me the correct way, it's a way to reconcile that. So I saw the person I was just in a relationship with, the fall off. After that, the aftermath was tricked. Family, friends, and we weren't operating how we should operate. And that's another story, or you can go back to the other man's machines for that. But had we, once I came back out of the possession, out of the tricks, out of the manipulation that the devil was trying to play with me, when I came back out of that, right, and I seen like, oh, well, this is how this happened. This is how this spiraled and fell out of place, right? But the other party continued to have the devil's hand on them, to still move in demonic activities, to still try to take vengeance, revenge, go about the lick back, things like that. So when the devil got us out of position, got us out of the Eden, right? And the spirit removed itself, like, ha, look what I just did to you. And you got to understand that too. Just like Judas, when Judas killed Jesus, he had that ha-ha moment. When the spirit of the devil moved off of him, Judas was hurt, damage done. A lot of us get in these situations where the devil has tricked us, the grass is greener, or do this and do that, right? And then when we make that move, he moves off of us. Like when people, you see a lot of times when if you watch First 48 or these murder things, when a person realizes what they've done out of an act of passion, right? Damn, I just did that. That wasn't me. That's not even the type of person I am. I can't believe I did that. Ever been drunk and woke up the next day and regretted something you did because that's not the type of person you is, but you had those spirits in you from that alcohol, and then when it come up off you, you made that mistake. You in jail for drunk driving or vehicular homicide, or you didn't mess with the wrong person or mess with something else, and that spirit come up off you, and you get that aha moment. That's that. That's that. And now you out of Eden because you done got tricked out of position, out of the will of God. And so you have to understand the tactic of the devil. He goes around like a roaring lion seeking who he can destroy. He doesn't play games. He's not here to pity pat with you. He ain't here to put you on timeout and put you in the corner. He's trying to put you out the game, especially with chosen ones. He knows he can't kill you for the most part, right? So when you've seen a lot of people, you on this podcast, you watching this right now, and you'll see me say this a lot. You woke up today, right? Meaning God has a purpose for you. You can be in the worst financial state of your life, right? You just woke up. God got a purpose for you. You just have to stay the course, right? And a lot of times, God will sit there and you think he's not moving, but because we can't see him move. And so we'll listen to the opposition thinking it's from God because we want it our way and not God's way. And so we'll make a move or make a decision, and it can end up being the worst decision of our life. Tricked out of Eden. Same thing Eve did. All they had to do was tend the garden. Stay away from this one tree. Just one thing. It's a person. It's a place. It's a something that God had told you to stay away from. Everybody got a tree of knowledge and evil, or good and evil in their life. Everybody got a tree of good and evil in their life. Your tree of good and evil might be narcotics. It might be liquor. It might be your ex. It might be the girl that you think is hot. It might be the guy that you think is hot. It might be a family member. It might be your mama. It might be your brother. It's something toxic in your life. That's your good or evil. And sometimes it might be good to you. It might feel good to you, but it's bad for you. Nobody gets drunk because it is, you know what I'm saying? Because or high, it's taking you away from a place. You know what I'm saying? Sex takes you away from a place. No one's doing anything because it feels bad to them. We do it because it feels good, or we wouldn't do it. And that's the trick right there. And the discipline part that you have to have, and you understand how you combat this, how you combat the devil's trick, is having discipline. The things you'll notice, the things that seem are right, seem like the hardest things to do. It's easy to go be bad. I can go right downstairs now. I got a whole bar, right? And I can go get drunk, and then I won't be able to do the podcast, right? I can go out right now, go to the club, karaoke, right? But I wouldn't be doing my purpose. And something could happen to me on the way there. How many times have we stepped out of the will of God thinking like, oh, this is a good time, and something bad happened? You catch that ticket. But how many times have God saved you from yourself? You have to understand, God will save you from yourself sometimes. He'll pull you out of bad situations and bad relationships. You got to think how clever the adversary, Satan, Lucifer, or these just spirits around have to be to trick angels, to trick divine beings, and us being little humans, right? We already got to fight against our flesh. That's evil in itself, just off rip. But then you have to fight against the influence of darkness too. So you got to stay aligned with that. And as I was saying, everything in the world was trying to get me not to do this podcast right now. Like I said, when I know I just came on TikTok a few minutes ago, and that's because the Riverside studio was messing up. I don't know what happened. The camera cord, that's a brand new camera cord, didn't work. It worked every time before, then it just didn't work. Took the cord off the radar detector to make the camera work. Mic stopped working. The computer started to do a update on itself. But the hell, anything to stop this podcast from going, right? No, I could have got frustrated and you're like, you know what, I'll do this tomorrow. Let me go to karaoke right now. Let me go watch a movie right now. Let me go finish working on my boat right now. Let me go play video games with the kid right now. Anything. And that would have stopped somebody, possibly one of y'all, from getting on here and seeing this message. One of y'all in the same boat. It's something that the devil want to use to trick you out of Eden. Person, place, or thing. And like I said, what I see right now in operation is relationships. He's using not just relationships for our spousal relationships. I'm talking about family members. He's turning mothers against daughters, fathers against sons, fathers against daughters, daughters against daughters, friends against friends. A lot of these people is not your homies that you think is your homies, but the devil is operating in them because they're not connected to the source. They're not in line with God's will. So you got to understand, everyone falls short of the glory of God. There is no perfect person, right? The difference is repentance. David did everything in the book, right? And God still said that was a man after my own heart. Why? Because when David messed up, he repented of it. He didn't continue to let the devil use him. Like I said, when I saw my ex this weekend, people was coming up into me in the club that I don't barely know. I just know of them, right? Dang, it's a whole big difference from when she was with you. The glow, the anointing is off of her. The anointing. I was the one, I would say, during the relationship, was doing the most, right? But when I realized it, when that spirit got off me, of evil got off me, I repented for it. And I stopped operating in the evil. Not saying I don't make mistakes, because don't never let no preacher, pastor, pope, whatever, tell you that you're going to be perfect and that you don't screw up. That's not going to happen. God doesn't even expect that. God sees you trying with your heart, trying. David, like I said, David did everything. That doesn't mean from the point when he killed Goliath, David made a lot of mistakes, right? So it's not that you're not going to continue to make mistakes. No, that's not it. It's that you repent from your heart. But if you align yourself with evil, you can see it manifesting. You can see the demons manifesting in people nowadays. Y'all have to learn, not even look with your spiritual eyes. I'm a social worker. So, or any y'all in psychology, a flat FX. You can see it on people where they just look emotionless in their face. Y'all got to see that, man. Y'all have to start understanding and see that. You can see the glow off of people. I don't know what she's going through. She was with dude. They look dusty together. And I had to show my friend a picture of her just months ago compared to right now. This is my brother. Boy, you see me on this podcast. Don't call me while I'm doing this. Hold on. You hit me on the live, Al. I'll put you on here if you want to talk about it. But you have to see and understand that you can see these energies, right? You can see these entities. Not that you can go out and you see a devil with horns or anything like that, but you can see the soullessness in people. You can see how their character and their aperture is different when they walk in with God and they walk in evil. I'm looking, it's like a drunk. When you look at somebody, you can tell they're drunk, right? I looked at myself some pictures back before I start cleaning myself up, right? And I'm not a finished product at all. I'm blessed that God feels I'm at the point where he can use me to talk to y'all. And don't ever be afraid of your mistakes, because your mistakes are testimonies for somebody else so they don't have to walk down that path. You know, I got off my square. I prayed for somebody, right? And then I went back into what I used to be, which was a player, which was a monster to females' emotions in their heart. You know what I'm saying? Good dude. I'm gonna fix your credit. I'm gonna take. We doing trips. We on the boats. We on the jet skis. Like we on vacation. But that's regular day for me. You know. But at the end, I went back to being a heartbreaker. So what I prayed for, the garden to get into, I destroyed my own garden. And that's exactly what the devil wants to do. And I'm just talking about relationships right there, but it's the same with your finances. Look at these millionaires. People be praying to hit the lottery, right? And when they hit it, they go back broke. People be praying to go to the NBA and they blow all their money. How is that? The devil tricking you out of your eating. Because when God blesses you with that, that's generational wealth, right? You pray for the job. And a lot of I'm gonna bring it down on a minute level, right? So many people. I'm a supervisor, was a plant superintendent before all that, right? So a lot of people ask me for jobs, right? Then I get them in the job, then they don't show up to work. How many of y'all experienced that? Where somebody actually put me on with this or put me on with that, or help me get this, or help me get a card, and they get it repossessed, or they do something like this, or put me on with this, or they don't show up, right? It's the same thing. You let the devil trick you out of your eating when you pray for something, right? And then you self-destruct it. That's the devil using you as your own very ticking time bomb. Tricking you out of the blessings that you pray for. That's insanity. Insanity, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And when we get into these manifest machines deeper, I'll teach you again about manifesting. In my darkest hour, right, sitting in a jail cell, because from somebody, and this is the thing too, attracting, and I just want to talk about this manifestation. You attract what you vibrate out, right? So if I want to attract positive things, money, flow, all this, right, I have to become that. I have to start walking in that. I have to get away from negative things that stop that from me attracting that type of energy, right? So you can pray for all these things, but if you don't separate yourself from the things that keeping you from the blessings, right? Why would God give you something if you're just going to tear it up, right? So when you start showing God that you become disciplined, a lot of times the devil will trick us to run right back into what we used to be. So using this context in just the small box, when I'm talking about the relationship and how you can get tricked out of eating, is it was times I was getting a lot of money. I had everything I wanted. And I would sit in the bed at night and be sad. Have all the girls, and I'd be sad. Sometimes I think I even cried a couple of times. Like, man, God, just bring me somebody. All the pretty girls. I had all this stuff going on. Had the Mercedes, had the boat, had the jet skis, got this house on the lake. All these things I prayed for and manifested. Now, I came from in a jail cell. I came from in a jail cell to everything I prayed for, because God, when you in locked up, when you going through things, what are you doing? You're on your knees praying. You're cleaning yourself up. And then a lot of the times when we clean ourselves up, the devil tricks us to run right back. Now, God to put you in the eating that you prayed for, that you've been manifesting for, that you've been fasting for, and then we run right back into the same habits, principles that had us where we was, that had me in the jail cell, that had you in poverty, that had you messed up outside of the will of God, had you in depression. No, we didn't ask God for to deliver us. We didn't put in the work, and then we go right back. That's a trick. That's tricking you out of your Eden. So in this example I'm giving y'all now, so I had everything, and I got tired of being a gigolo. Literally, pray to God these exact words. I'm tired of being a gigolo. I'm tired of just running the streets. I'm tired of just being in the streets, for the streets, whatever. Send me the right person. So what I perceived to be the right person finally came. I treated it the right way for a minute. Then, polygamy. Let's try to get all the girls we can again. Then I went right back into what I used to be, which destroyed what I had prayed for and finally manifested. That makes sense to you. On the same end, the same thing she wanted and prayed for, we self-destructed. Why? Got out of the will of God. Got out of the will of God. Going everywhere, doing everything but what you're supposed to be doing. That's why I say, especially relationships, you got to have a three-stranded brand. You have to have God as your anchor, because the human nature in you, this skin suit, is evil, and it wants to revert back to doing everything that's against the will of God. So true discipline is doing what you don't want to do as if you love it, basically, and it'll become a habit for you. And this is how you keep the devil from tricking you out of your Eden, out of your purpose. People that walked away from things they know they should be doing to go. We'll use Shannon Sharpe as an example. Shannon know not to mess with what he was doing. He talks about this type of thing on his podcast all the time. That man is smart. Made a stupid decision, and all it took was that one decision with that one person, and look what he lost. Look what he's losing. Look what he's going through. Don't you think he's sitting there praying? Solomon, smartest man ever created. How did he lose the kingdom? We suffering now from that. Israel is the true Israelites, the true Hebrews, the true children of God are suffering right now from that because Solomon made a bad decision. God told him, Solomon, cancel. Your kingdom going to be rent from you because you're going to choose strange wives, right? Solomon didn't listen. I'm the smartest person in the world, blah, 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 blah. And what happened to him? Kingdom was rent from him. Departed, cast down. So the way you stop doing that, and how did they do that? They separated him from God. You don't need somebody else to do this. We can do this with ourselves. Like I said, one of the phrases, don't let nobody trick you off the street. Your anger, your attitude, because someone did something to you. In that heat of the moment, you forget about your kids, you forget about your family, you forget about your loved ones, you forget about your job, the money you making, the purpose you have, your future. You forget about being able to turn the lights on. See, you can't do this in jail. Hit the light switch. That's what I'm doing over here. Y'all can't see it here. Let me show you. See, you can't do that in jail. There ain't no light switches in no jail cell. You just thinking about that because somebody said something to you, because somebody looked at you the wrong way. That's the devil tricking you out of your Eden, and your Eden was just freedom. And you done lost all that because you made a bad decision, or you go to work hot and you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. It's a lot of ways, and it's constantly, and it seems unfair because you got to think you're dealing with a spirit. You don't sleep, don't need to eat. It's always on you. So you got to stay on guard all the time, because especially you with the calling on your life, the devil don't fool with, he ain't got time to play with nobody, they ain't got no purpose. He can get them up out of here anytime. And you got to stop looking at it like that. Like, why they get to succeed that way? And why did they get this? And why did they get that? No, no, it's because the devil on your head, because he know who you are and who you can become and who your purpose is. He fears that. He's afraid of that. So he can't come against you head up. You're more powerful than him. That sounds crazy, don't it? You're more powerful than the devil, or he won't waste time on you. He wouldn't waste time trying to manipulate you and trick you. So he got to finesse you out of your calling, out of your gifts that God has bestowed upon you and are set up for you. And all you have to do is show discipline. And I know I said all you have to do is show discipline, because discipline is hard. But it gets easier the more you go. Just like going to the gym. The last week, I ain't go. But if you follow me, you see I've been going rigorous. I put on 15 pounds of muscle in a 3-4 month period, right? But my metabolism so fast, I lost 4 pounds in a week of muscle. There is nothing here but bone and muscle. That's it. That's all I got. So when I didn't go, I'm like, man, I got to get back into it. I can't let this sidetrack me to not being disciplined. No matter how I feel, how or what I got going on, I got to make the time to do that. That's the same thing you got to be in your word when you're chosen, when you got a purpose and a calling by God. The same way you go to the gym and religiously lift them weights, you got to spiritually lift them weights in your mind and in your spirit. You got to stay in your word. You got to stay on your knees praying. You got to stay fasting, because that entity, these principalities of wickedness in high places, they don't sleep and they always watch. They're sending people, monitoring spirits to listen to your plans and listen to your goals. They putting the time in to destroy you. You got to put the time in to destroy them. You can't just imagine, right? If you can see in the spiritual and you can see as you can see in the natural, right? So if you have some enemies, whether you're from the streets or just say you're in the corporate world, right? Let's just use the corporate world for example. You got Sue, Sally, Mary, and Jonathan, blah blah blah. They don't like you. They're your co-workers and they plotting on you. Are you just gonna sit there and not have a formulated plan in yourself to get away or around that? You just gonna sit there? Or if you was in the streets and you know these guys was trying to set you up to do something to you, you knew it was coming. You could see the plot, right? Are you gonna sit there, or you gonna put in the work to move around that, or do what you have to do to deal with that? No, of course not. It's the same in the spirit, but we don't put in the work. We actually go and help them out. That's like knowing it's a booby trap, right? Sitting for you outside. And it's spiritual booby traps, right? And you sat there and you walk into them. If you knew some guys outside that was going to blow your head off if you walked out the door and went around a certain corner, is you going to go? Of course not. So you're gonna prepare yourself to stay away from that area, or to be prepared to do what you need to do to get them up off you. Same in the spirit. When you go outside, when God tell you don't go this place, don't do this thing, right? And we go back and do it, don't you know that them entities, them demons, them spirits is waiting for you to come so they can get an opportunity to kick you out of Eden, to trick you out of Eden? That's what they're waiting for. And the devil's setting you up. That girl in the gym, for Shannon Sharp, that's a demonic setup. That's a demonic setup. Oh, he lusted. Okay. He talked this talk. You know why they do that? Because especially when you got a purpose and a platform, because what your decisions do affects so many people. Just like I said, if you got a temper, we just use that as a way to put you out of Eden. If you got a temper, right? Demonic spirits will send somebody to set you off, to trigger you, so you do something to trick you off the streets. This is what OG say. Man, don't let them trick you off the street. Or trick you back off the street. Big Meech was just talking about it. I'm not going to let 50 trick me back off the streets. Meech still got plugs. 50 rich. Meech still got plugs to get at him if he wanted to, or at least make his situation uncomfortable. But what would that do? He in Halfway House. But a lot of us, just because somebody said something, especially is degrading to some of these stuff, that's tricking you off the streets. And that's a large scale situation. But I'm just giving y'all examples of how Satan can trick you out of your Eden. And it don't even have to be something negative, actually looking negative. Like I said, a lot of it come in the form of spouses. He looked good, she looked good, he buying me this, he buying me that. Narcissist monster. Jezebel, Delilah. Right? Wrapped up in a nice package. Nice face, nice body, nice dress, nice car, nice jewelry, all of those things, and you get wrapped up into it. Situations with money. All money ain't good money. And it'll put you back in a place. Like now, I was debating about I'm a promoter by trade. I was a very successful promoter. And every time I want to do this karaoke thing, something stops me. Because if I get back in that bar life, I've destroyed relationships by being a promoter. I destroyed them because I'm always out, always got the girls around me, and all this other stuff. Then you get out of hand. Then I become the old me. So do I really want to go back to that? No, because I see what it felt like. Even if that situation with the last one wasn't the end game, God got somebody else for me, right? But I see what it could be if I would have been me. You know, if I had stayed in Eden, I seen what it could be. Don't you think Adam and Eve wish they had not got kicked out of the garden? Don't you think those angels wish they hadn't followed Satan? They can't do nothing about it now. All them opportunities that you had that God gave you, you prayed for, and you walked away from or got tricked out of. You want them back, don't you? You want back that good man, don't you? You want back that good woman, don't you? You want back that good hustle, that good job, that good business idea that you had that you didn't do because the devil, man, you don't want to do that. That's going to be too hard. That's the type of stuff he puts in your head. But then you see somebody else doing it. These podcasts, I've been doing this since 2012, 2013. I showed y'all when I found the COVID bodies at the hospital, and the hospital was just dumping bodies into an abandoned building. If I'd have kept on with these Manverse machines then, where would I be now? It wasn't monetized then. Nah, I'm tired of telling people the real. Not everybody telling people the real. We waking up. Front runner. I walked away from so many opportunities just by being tricked out of Eden. I don't know how many Edens I've been tricked out of. Thank God I'm still here. We're going to keep it going now. Now, we got to. So, stay where you're supposed to be. Stay in the will of God. There's no better place than being in the will of God. Don't let the devil lie to you, trick you, and get you out of your purpose, your path, or where you're really supposed to be. It's an awakening, y'all. It's an awakening. You're not alone. A lot of times I used to feel like I was alone because I was trailblazing things. And that's all right. Trailblazing things. That's the best way to be. That's the best way to be. That's Facebook, Microsoft. Them all trailblazers. That's the best place to be as a trailblazer. And a lot of times when you trying to get to where you're going to have to be put in isolation because isolation brings elevation. That's the time you get to spend most with just you and God. It's going to be at times where your mama not going to be there. Your daddy going to turn his back on you. Your sisters, your brothers, your friends, the people you thought was close to you, they're going to turn their backs on you. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, they're going to turn their backs on you, right? It's going to be you and God because he wants you in that space so he can work on you. To get back to where I used to be, and that's why things not in the motion that they are that I'm used to, where God would just come in and instant money. Big sum of money here, big sum of money there. Because you got to keep me in this place to build the habit up. Just like when you start with weights, right? That discipline will turn into a habit after you do it so many times. When you start with weights, you don't start with the heaviest that you can ever lift. No, you warm up and you build up to that. God got to build us up because you have to understand the devil been tricking us so long to stay out of Eden and to stay out of the will of God that we got all these bad habits in us, right? You don't just jump into being, faithful if he was a cheater all the time. You have to build that habit up. You have to build that love up. You don't just go into just eating healthy instantly like that. No, that's something that you have to build up. It takes discipline to walk away from snacks. It takes discipline to go in the gym when you don't want to go in the gym. It takes discipline to not go buy stuff recklessly. It takes discipline to work on your credit. It takes discipline to put as much energy into your purpose as you do that 9-to-5 job. You know what I'm saying? It take discipline to start your own business and continue to go when you're not seeing money coming in. It take discipline not to cuss somebody out because they pissed you off. You know what I'm saying? It take discipline not to react to somebody because they made you mad or put hands on somebody. These are just examples of things that y'all got to understand. It take discipline to every morning get on your knees and pray before you walk out the door. That take discipline. It take discipline to instead of, baby, run into a restaurant every night. Let's cook something together, or you cook something, I cook something. You know what I'm saying? That take discipline. These are just little small things that can make big differences in your life. These are just small little things, little disciplines that create better habits. So it take time, and those things that keep you in your purpose, in the will of God, instead of being tricked. And these are the things that the devil come against. And like I said, it's harder here to do the things that's right than it is to do good. There's been times you probably went with your friends, and they like, come on, let's go out, but you needed to study, right? That you ain't really had the money. You need to be saving. But it was easier. It was easier to go do something that you didn't want to do. But the discipline brings about good rewards. When I stayed disciplined and I took my credit score from a 580 to an 820, that took discipline. That took discipline not using credit cards. That took discipline when I started getting approved for stuff to not go and get it. And then when I lost the discipline, that 840 dropped down to a 590, to a 600. And how did that happen? Becoming back into them old habits. The same with anything that you do. How do you lose a good man or a good woman? Go back into them old habits when you was in the street. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you get tricked out of eating. The devil wants you to go back into being the creature that you were before you had a real relationship with God. That's what he wants you to do. That's how he tricks you into, she feel good. He feel good. That bottle feel good. That pill feel good. That heroin, that meth, them pills, that all that shit. You know what I'm saying? It could be so little as speeding. How you don't get speeding tickets? How I don't get speeding tickets now? My old habit. I still got a fast car. Very fast, second fastest car I ever owned. I don't use it like I used to. Every now and then I will. But I'm not running through stop signs if I don't feel that they shouldn't be there no more. I'm not doing drag racing everybody down the street. I'm not doing 120, 100, well, maybe once in a while. But I'm not doing that type of things no more. When I do, the consequences happen. And then I'll be back in court. I remember I went in front of this judge one time, and he picked up my driver's record, and it was taller than him. He's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. I had, 24 points on my license at one time. And then when I got older, I just stopped speeding. I started driving like a normal person. Now, sometimes I go past the cops, I'll be thinking I'm speeding. I'm doing less than the speed limit. That's a habit. Now, if I go back to doing me, guess what? I'm going to be in court every day like I did when I had my Corvette. Literally every day of the week. This is what happens. So you have to understand the devil wants you to get back in that so he can keep you into that mode. If I go back to having a bad attitude and like to fight all the time, I'm going to get the same result. I'm going to be in jail all the time. if I run around like I'm Yosemite Sam still, that's what you get. You get what your lifestyle is like. So when you do good, and I know people, if you do good, you put in the works, God is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. I'm a living witness of that. I'm a living witness to that. I went from the trash can to living on a lake to driving Mercedes to having more boats and jet skis than people have cars. And that's not because of me. That's because of God. Because God rewarded me. I was lied on and would have faced 15 to 20 years because I was lied on. And how do you get back to meeting Jezebel and liars like that? Well, you go back into running the streets and you'll get that. You will attract that because the devil's going to send that to you because that's his way of destroying. Because if he could have killed me with violence, he would have done it already. Can't kill me with violence. What does he do? Send a woman. That's what he did to all kings. That's what he did to all kings. And we'll talk about the polygamy thing too because God had to reveal that to me with the polygamy. That's how kingdoms was ruled. David, polygamy, concubines, Solomon, same thing. Same thing. But that's a different conversation to be had. But don't get tricked out of your eating. Don't get tricked out of your eating. It's easy to do. And it really reverts back to going back to your bad habits and letting the devil put something in your head that's a lie. Told those angels that we can overtake the Most High God and sit me on his throne. And I should be worshipped. That was the first lie. And he tricked them out of heaven. They're here on earth and in hell, bound and chains in the earth because they listened to something that he said to them. Eve and Adam got kicked out of the Garden of Eden where they didn't have to toil the land. The garden provided everything that they needed. The same for you. When you align yourself with the will of God, He's gonna provide everything you need. Needs and wants are different, but you get the wants too. Cattle on 1,000 hills. I'm living proof of that. Nothing that I did. There's no way some of the jobs I've had and I have now, some of the money that I was making was by my own hands or my own doing. God was blessing me. God was blessing me. I've been blessed and highly favored. He took everything away, and now I had a good life. If I dropped dead this moment, I had a good life. Couldn't be mad about nothing. Couldn't be mad about nothing. But my own decisions. So how did I get into the bad places? My own decisions. My own reactions, listening to things, being tricked off the streets, going back into that playboy nature. So, and then that's the irony of it. That's the irony of it. Self-destruction. Self-destruction. Those angels, they self-destruct. Eve, Adam, self-destruct. Solomon, self-destruct. David, self-destruct. Ahab, self-destruct. You have to understand, if you don't know these peoples that I'm mentioning, look it up. Look it up. Open up your Bible. Get some study in. Because you need that word in your heart. That's the only way that you can align yourself. So y'all check out these Man's Verse Machines, man. I'm going to get up off here. We've been on here almost an hour. When you see the live, pop in. I appreciate everyone that joined. Follow, like, share, subscribe. Follow me on here. We're going to get it popping. Like I said, I don't know what's up with the camera. That's funny, but the devil, he tried his best. But we still got the message out. I hope it reach somebody, teach somebody. If you need to share this with somebody so they can see it and they can learn. But yeah, definitely the point of this was today, don't let the devil trick you out of your eating. Same as don't let them trick you off these streets. Your purpose is solidified. You are a major threat to the kingdom of darkness because you're a light. And they want to self-destruct. They can't beat you. The devil's not going to come pick you up and body slam you or punch you out. He can't do that. He already lost the battle. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So all he can do is trick you to not be you. As I said before on my other main verse machines, you're a weapon in the spiritual realm. You are chosen ones, children of the light. You are weapons in the spiritual realm. You are nuclear bombs. But a nuclear bomb in the wrong hands is deadly to innocence. It's deadly to innocence. So you're either going to be used to destroy evil, or you're going to be used to destroy yourself and others that could be brought to the light to do good as well. And you know who you are. You're the superhero. So as I said before in the other main machine, stop acting like a villain when you're really the superhero. Imagine the Batman siding with the Joker. Imagine Superman becoming a monster. Imagine that. But he's really Superman. He was sent to save. You were sent to save people. You were sent to help people. You were sent to wake people up. That's why you're the threat. Because the more people you wake up, the larger the army grows. That you add in another nuke against the armies of darkness. And they can't win that way. They're already lost. So the only thing they can do is try to trick you out of being who you're supposed to be. Tricking you out of your eating, tricking you out of your prosperity, tricking you out of your peace, tricking you out of your love, tricking generations down the line. Don't let them do that. Peace up. I appreciate y'all.